everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson's Soapery. Today let's get into a video all about rainbows and unicorns. So we're going to make a really big soap of 28 bars, and I'm going to colour it in the micas that I've already popped down in front of me here, which is orange, yellow, a teal green, a hot pink, and then a purple. These will go a more muted colour because they are micas and we're putting them into cold processed soap. So today I have, like I said, all my colours ready. Also what you need to do is a lot of prep work. So here I do have my mould, and in my mould here I've already written all the lines down, and so that's so that I know exactly where the unicorn head would go, because if you don't do that then you might actually get your spacing wrong, and then when you go to cut it, one bar's too big and one's too small. So that's why I actually do that. But if you feel that you don't need to do that, well, just suit yourself however you like. And like I said, I do have the micas and everything sorted out. Also, make sure you find a fragrance that does not discolor. That means you don't want to have lanolin vanilla in your soap, because in your fragrance, because if you actually have that, of course it will go brown and it will discolor. So there's lots on the market that don't discolor. There's a few that I use. A peony, which is really good, from Aussie Candle Supplies, doesn't discolor. Also gardenia is a great one as well, from Pure Candle Supplies. Also the rose from Pure Candle Supplies doesn't discolor as well. And there's quite a few. Birch and mint don't, from Pure Candle Supplies. But have a look around and you'll see. And if also you go onto sites like Aroma, on Aroma they'll actually have a section that says lanolin free, and that way they won't discolor, or they shouldn't. But do test before you do a massive batch. But I know how these fragrances work, so I'm happy to use the ones that I've chosen for today. And as you all know, I never put one particular fragrance in. I always sort of mix several together. So today I do have a French lavender. I also have gardenia in mine as well. And I also do have a tropical scent in as well. So the three of them I'm going to be using, which is perfect for this as well, and it's not too overpowering. And usually I put my fragrance in at around 4%. We can go up to 5% in Australia, but I usually stick to about 4%. You don't want it too strong. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and give us a massive thumbs up if you feel that my videos are worthy. I know that I do make videos that are quite a lot longer than most other people, but I just really feel that, if I give you step by step, you'll be able to do these recipes and you'll be able to do these tutorials on your own. All right, everyone, we are going to be doing the first step. So in here I do have my lye already. If the lye has already been mixed as well, and now all I'm going to be adding in is just a little bit of titanium dioxide. You can add that straight into your lye if you want, and that way it actually will mix it in and disperse it a bit better, and then it will actually stop you getting those horrible little white titanium marks. If you just pour titanium straight into your mixture, you'll often get those because it doesn't blend very well. So now obviously we're just going to pour this straight into our butters. So in here I do have my cocoa butter. I also do have some coconut oil, and I also have some shea butter. So the thing to do when you're doing rainbow soaps is we've divided this into 5. So I know my recipe is 3,333 grams. That is the full recipe. So then I've divided that number by 5 because we want 5 layers. And what I actually prefer to do with mine is I prefer to do layer at a time. So I just make one layer, then I'll go make a separate layer, and then a separate layer, and so on. And I do leave it 30 minutes in between. That way I actually know that it's all set up really, really well. And I know I'm not going to break through the layers. I mean, I don't have to do that, but that's just how I prefer to do mine. So we're just going to keep mixing this. Obviously, this is the heat transfer method. And the thing with heat transfer method as well, to stop you getting frosting, is you need to mix it to everything is really combined, and it gives the lye just time to cool down and not be so hot. If you don't give it that time, it's just really, really hot. So, and then of course that can, give you frosting and lots of other issues. So to stop any of that, I do suggest that you just keep slowly mixing it round and around. Make sure you're wearing your gloves and your glasses and your mask when you're doing lye in particular, especially when you're mixing the lye, you know, before this sort of stage. But when you're mixing the lye, you know, just adding the lye beads to the water, that's when you actually just need to make sure you've got a mask on, because it can easily make you cough and choke because the chemical is really toxic. So safety is paramount, isn't it, to us all? So do that. I've obviously taken off my mask now, but when I was doing the first step, I did have my mask on. And the titanium is going to just make my mixture whiter. If you want a really bold colour, don't add the titanium, because that's giving more of a pasteurized colour. And also in my little micas that you'll be able to see here at the front, these little ones here, these colours, what I've actually done is added 1 tablespoon of olive oil to 1 teaspoon, to 2 teaspoons of mica, just so that I'm getting a nice sort of, you know, medium bright colour. And like I said, we're just going to slowly do this, and once this is all done, then we will go and add in the mica colours. So I will bring you back when this is all mixed in. Okay, so now this has totally melted down. As you can see, it is nice and runny and kind of silky. Then to the side here, I've already pre-measured up all the oils. So in here, I do have a teaspoon of sodium lactate. I also have my olive oil in here, castor oil, and I also do have sweet almond oil in here. Obviously, this is a small mix because, like I said, this is only going to be 1 layer into this mix. So you want to make sure that both of these are a similar temperature. Within 5 to 10 degrees of each other is okay. So if it's not, just let this one mix. But I can feel it's quite only just lukewarm now. It's quite good. So now I'm just going to pop all of this in here. I will leave the recipe below for all of you. But do remember, this is a really, really big recipe. But like I said, I'll put all the layers that I've done for you so that you can see. So just make sure you scrape everything out. And because we're doing all the layers, what I usually do is I just kind of wipe out these bowls in between, and I'm just going to keep using them because it's only the different layers. It's just kind of the colors, you know, that we really want at the moment. So we're just going to give this a bit of a mix, and then we're going to, obviously we're going to stick blend this, then we will add the fragrance and color in also. So I'll move this out the way and let's start blending, and then we'll pour the first one in once it's ready. Alright, so this one is almost ready to pop the colour in, so we'll pop that in there. And so now the first one we're going to do is the purple, so we're literally just going to pour this straight in, and then of course we are going to blend it. Don't just blend it you know, with a spoon. You do need to mix this properly with the blender if you want the colour to be, you know, the same throughout the whole mixture. So we'll leave that in there. And now we're going to add in our fragrance oil that I've already measured out. I'm sorry if you can hear my little doggy in the background. She is barking at the birds because it is springtime here in Australia at the moment. We've just gone into spring. So here we go. So here is the mold, and now, like I said, all we're literally going to be doing is just pouring it in. Just make sure it looks the same inside. You know, if you can see white or darker purple bits, just make sure that you're mixing it. And then literally we're just going to pour it in the mold, and that is literally it for the first layer. do try and make sure that you don't get it all spilt all over the side. If you get drops down the side, you need to get a spoon to wipe it off, because that will leave like a dirty mark in between on the sides, in between your molds. So I just get a toothpick and clean it. Oh, sorry, not a toothpick, like a skewer kind of stick, which is like a big toothpick, isn't it? Because I've used this big bowl, which probably wasn't a good idea. If you use like a jug, it's much easier to control. But I've actually, a lot of them are in the wash at the moment because I've made so much soap. Alright, we're going to let this sit and we will come back for the next layer.
So now let's get going on the next layer. I did have to do the voiceover on this bit because I was just so busy trying to keep this whole recipe going really well. So I thought, look, we'll just do the voiceover on the top so I can explain a few things. So now we're on to layer 2, and the colour I've used here is called Crystalline Teal, and this one is from Sud Off in Australia. The one thing I'll say about this particular colour is it is a cosmetic grade mica. So just make sure that you do put in a decent amount if you want it to be really, really strong and a bold colour. Myself, I didn't. I really love this colour with the titanium white, which just makes it a gorgeous pastel. So we'll mix it and then we're going to pour it straight on the top of that layer. So the good thing about doing it the way that I'm doing, as I explained at the start, what I actually do is divide this into layers, and that way you don't have to be stressed. Because if I did this in one massive big batch, what I would have to do first is I would have to divide it all. Then I would have to make sure that it wasn't getting too thick. So this way it makes it easy and there's a lot less stress. So now we are on to the third layer, and this one here is Bubblegum Pink. So this Bubblegum Pink is also a cosmetic grade mica. It's from Sud Off in Australia as well. If you want to check out any of their micas, and this is a company that I really do prefer to use, just go to their website, which I think is sudoff.com.au, and then you can get them. You can get like little packs, and they have like rainbow ones. So they have, you know, several in one pack, so you can just try them out. But I don't buy them like that. Obviously, I buy them in bigger containers so that I have more, because I use quite a lot of their products. So once again, we're just going to mix it all up. Make sure that you do blend it with a stick blender, not just a spoon, because we want it to be really well combined. And this is like a medium trace as well. So it's not super thick, not super thin. So it is just absolutely perfect. So now what I've also done is I did make these cloud molds in cold process soap before. The only thing I'm going to say is if you add this, what happens is the weight of that pushes down and then it doesn't make your layers as even. So it's fine for this, but when I start to put the orange on top, obviously it's not exactly perfect because it already has this white cloud in it, which of course adds to the soap recipe. So I should have subtracted that from my weight goals at the end. But anyway, it doesn't matter, and that was too much work for me to subtract it. So let's get going, and now we're doing the orange, and we've already obviously mixed it all in. So now I'm just going to pour it in the top. This one's from Aussie Candle Supplies, and this orange here is called Saffron. I did actually buy a couple kilos of this mica, so I have a lot of this mica. I have several containers, so I thought we'll add this one in and it will look really, really good on the top of this rainbow soap. So we'll just add it in, and then of course we need to get going with the next one and making sure everything's gorgeous. So on the top, I decided to keep it yellow, even though I was running out of room. I really wanted the top to have white, kind of fluffy cloud looking at the top, but honestly, I sort of had too much soap mixture because I forgot to subtract the clouds from my mixture. So then that's why I've now decided I'll just keep it yellow. I know this yellow looks like a really dirty kind of mustard yellow, but in the curing process, it will go to a beautiful sort of butter yellow. So it will be really nice in the end. So like I said, we just mix all this up and then we're going to get to frost this bit. So we're not going to just pour it on top. So I do have my plastic at the bottom. All this is like a cling wrap if you're in Australia. If you're in other countries, I'm not sure what you call it, but it's just a plastic wrap. And then all I'm going to do is I just, pour my little bits into it, and then I just tie it up. The reason I do it this way is it's much easier just to pop this straight into the piping bag, and it's less messy than trying to fiddle around with the bag and then get all this soap everywhere, which usually I end up making a bit of a disaster when I do it the other way. So this way is just nice and easy. I think I had enough for maybe 3 in this particular mix. So anyway, like I said, I just decided to pop it in here, and then next we'll get on to piping the rest of the soap. So now I have everything ready, popping it into the piping bag just so that I can get ready and pipe it. I probably could have left it to be a tiny bit thicker, but by this stage of the day, honestly, I was a bit fed up and I just really wanted to finish this up, because in between cleaning and everything else that I've been doing for some wholesale orders, I thought, let's get going with this one. So I'm just going to pipe it on. It's just a little sort of a star type tip, I guess. So the end of this is your standard tip that you can get anywhere, and then the piping bags that I use, I actually get them from My Dream Cakes, and I buy them on a roll because it is so much cheaper. I bought this one quite a long time ago. I can't remember how long, but I've had them for so long and I still have more. Even though they're disposable bags, I do actually wash them, probably use them 6 or 7 times before I need to throw them out. So they are really worth the money. They're a good quality piping bag as well. I think maybe they might have been like $50 for 50 or something like that, or I can't remember, but anyway, it was pretty cheap. So what I've done now is because of the size of my mold, I was able to get 3 across each layer. So each one will have sort of 3. And then what I do is I go right down the whole lot. Obviously, I'm just changing the piping bags now, but I just do 1 layer at the bottom. Then I go back a second time and I actually do just 2. And then I go back a third time and just do 1 in the top, which that gives you like a pyramid type thing, which is the really nice frosting that you've probably seen lots and lots of professional soapers do, and it just gives that really nice peak to the top of a soap, especially if you're doing like a unicorn soap or one that is quite fancy and you just really want that peak and you want to build your soap up to look taller. This is a really easy way to build a soap up to make it look taller. Even if you don't have a mold as tall as mine and you have one that is more of a standard mold, you can actually use the frosting to create more of a high top looking mold without even having the high top. So that's a bit of a trick that you can actually use if you like. And last but not least, here is, of course, the last yellow that we're going to do. And I had just enough with a tiny bit left over, which was really, really handy. If you ever have any left over and you don't want to use it, you can just wrap it in plastic, put it in a sealed container, and then that can actually be your soap dough. So don't just use it because you don't know what to do with it. There's always other things that you can do, or you can put it in a silicone mold and make an embed. So now I finished the main bit, so let's get on to popping on the unicorns. So now we'll get going with all of these unicorn heads, which I'm just going to pop in. So remember at the start we did line the paper, and this is why we've lined the paper, so that we know exactly where they're going to sit. So when we cut it, we're not going to waste slices, because if this is wrong, then you literally have to cut through their head, and then that's actually a bit of a shame because you've sort of ruined, the whole design. So what I've done is I've done 14 in purple and 14 in pink. The pink that I've just used a little bit less mica than normal with lots of white, and then that is the bubble gum to give it just that really light kind of pinky sort of colour. And the purple is called Deep Purple, and that one's from Sud Off as well. So like I said, just go over to their website and you can have a look. They're all cosmetic grade micas, which is something that I really do like, and I really feel that the colours are really bold and beautiful colours when you're using cosmetic grade micas. So anyway, we'll just pop them all in. Like I said, I do have 28. And I'm really excited to see this all come together because it just looks so pretty. And then what I've also done is, which I usually never ever do this, but I cut up just some paper straws and put it in so that it kind of looked like a fun kind of unicorn type milkshake type of soap. So I hope that you think it's really cute. I love it, and never worry about the straws if they're in paper. They're just going to either melt down into the shower or somebody can just pull them out. So I wouldn't use plastic straws in these because that would be really sharp in the shower, but paper is just going to melt, melt away, and then they can pick it up and throw it in the bin later on. But it just adds to the whole effect. So now they are totally finished. I, of course, have sprayed some gorgeous biodegradable glitter just over the top, which makes it just look nice and sparkly like a unicorn should look. And I've also painted on their horns in Goldilocks gold, and Timeless silver is what I've used for the horns. So here is the end result, like I said before, and next I will come back for the cut, but I'll need to do that tomorrow. But for you, it will only be a few seconds, and then I can show you the gorgeous cut.
I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys think it's as beautiful as I do. So we're going to just lift this up, clean the handle. And as most of you know, I've already measured everything else like yesterday, if you remember. And so if you can see here the wire now, you know that's why it's going to cut in the right place. So I'm just going to move so that you can actually see a bit better. So if you can actually see this, that way you know that you're cutting perfectly in between. And I know all my bars are going to be the same. So we will just take it out of here. And look how cute this looks. I mean, adorable. Hopefully you guys think it's as cute as I do. And this orange at the back will turn this middle color that you can see here. You can see that it's started to like dry a little bit, but it hasn't finished its little bit yet. So anyway, hopefully you love them. I'll leave them on the rack. We'll clean them up soon. And the yellow also will come a really light yellow. It's not gone through its process totally yet. And do remember, lots of soap can change over a number of weeks. But I'll cut a few more so that you can actually see what I'm doing and see if we can see anything different with the other ones as we go along. So once again, and do remember when you're putting something like a straw in, they can just pull that out. It's only paper. It's fine. It just goes, look, literally with the whole look of what we're trying to achieve here anyway. And I could leave this to stay because it is a little bit wet still, but it's pretty good. And then there is the cloud that I put in yesterday. So some will have the cloud and some won't. Most will have the little cloud in it. Next time, maybe I'll do 2 clouds because it would look better if there was another one here. But anyway, it takes a long time because I only have 1 cloud column mold. And if you're looking for the cloud column mold in Australia, Aussie Soap Supplies actually sell lots and lots of column molds. That's where I get all my column ones from. And you can get them in shapes of ducks, clouds, stars, shapes, hearts. I mean, there's so many. I have quite a few. I don't use them very often though, to be really honest. So unless you're going to use it a lot, it's a bit of waste of money. Anyway, and here is another one. Like I said, once again, look how cute this looks. So yeah, it looks really adorable, doesn't it? So anyway, I hope you have really, really loved everything that we've done with this beautiful soap, and I will have it on my shelf soon. So this one is so that I can get everything ready for Christmas, of course, because these ones will be a great Christmas present, especially being rainbow unicorns. Anyway, see you next time. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Bye for now.